Myanmar has issued a series of guidelines to ensure safe balloting at next month's general election. It's working to have polls go ahead as planned, even as it battles a second and more serious wave of COVID-19. The new measures are on top of rules laid out last month for political parties at the start of campaigning. Young Wai Kid has the details.
Some of them will be habitual, wearing a mask before you go out, keeping a safe distance of 2 meters from one another. But before they head for the polling stations, voters will have to put their identification documents in a transparent folder so that it reduces the risk of cross-contamination when they're at polling stations. And in the past, before they leave the polling stations, they'll have to dip their fingers in a shared bottle of ink. The authorities are definitely relooking at the way they dip, or rather ink, voters' fingers. For COVID-19 patients, they will be able to vote, although in isolation. They will have to wear N95 masks, they will have to put on gloves, and people attending to them will have to be fully geared up in protective gear. Of course, their ballot papers will be stored in a bag that will have to be cleanly sanitized. Now, there are many rules for a range of people, from your candidates to people setting up your polling stations, to electoral staff, to people counting your ballots. And that means that Myanmar is determined to hold the elections on November 8th, which means to say the next 1 month will be very critical for the country, because not only do they have to prepare the elections with these safety guidelines, they'll also have to make sure that the pandemic doesn't get any worse in Myanmar.